Hello and welcome to hashtag Teen Talks. This is the second thing that we've tried after the parent talks, in which we got experts to talk about parenting. And now, for our teenagers, I believe that the teenager is the expert on how they should be raised. Because in each generation, there's so much difference from how we think that I think teenagers are old enough. And in the olden days, of course, the teenager would probably be married and ready to become a parent already. So I think that it's a great time to ask you how to raise you. So with that, I welcome all of you. Say hi. And can you just give us your name, age, and which grade you're in? Navya?
So right now I just started 10th grade and I'm Navya. And I don't know much at home,
And
to be honest.
what's your age?
14.
Okay. Suhani?
I'm Suhani and I just started ninth grade and I don't have much to tell about. I like writing and I like to write poetry and even articles or stories. Also, I like to spend a lot of time on my phone and I love watching movies.
And your age?
I am going to turn 14 soon.
Cool. Meera?
Hi, I'm Meera, and I'm 15, and I just started 10th grade, and that's it. But if you want to know more, I like drawing, painting, and history and civics.
Awesome. So, first question for all of you, and anyone can start answering. If you're spending too much time on your mobile, so this is from the parents' point of view, we think you're spending too much time on your mobile. What can we do to make you change? Who wants to go first?
I think if we spend too much time on our phone, it's because we don't have anything else to do. Because, the lockdown is here, so we can't go outside. And personally, both of my parents are working, so I don't get to spend much time with them. And my sister does not really have time for me. So I think, what else do you expect me to do? That's why I spend so much time on my phone. If you want me to not spend that much time on my phone, we can do some activities together. Like if you want me to do something else, I want you to do that with me.
Okay.
Like I can't do that alone. Like we can go on a walk, we can watch a movie, or we could even read a book together, something like that. But I want to do it with somebody, not alone.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Anybody else? I mean, I want all of your opinions. So let's.
Yeah,
Yes, Meera.
yeah. So if you think that we're spending a lot of time on our phone or something, I think just like Sohani said, it's probably because we have nothing else to do. And maybe if see, I don't always need somebody to do something with me because I am an ambivert, so I can do things on my own, a lot of things on my own. And so basically, maybe you can just kind of nudge me like, oh Mira, what about the painting you were doing yesterday? Just a little, so that I remember. Oh yeah, I can do something else. Just because I do want to do something else, just I forget sometimes. And sometimes it's like phone studying, laptop, phone studying. That's it. So a little nudge will help.
Navya?
To be honest, it's like the same thing they said. Like if you have nothing else to do, or maybe like you want something so good that you just want to like, or maybe sometimes you want to forget about the rest of the world and just live in your own world, live in your own universe. So that's when I mostly use like all these like my tab or a phone or something. So like what I think is that you can like, maybe call a friend, or maybe like on call, or maybe you can like interact with your friends more.
That is an interesting idea as well. So my second point, like part two of this question, is that usually in parenting, I tell the parents that you're not responsible for entertaining the child, and we start telling parents whose children are as young as 3 and 4 years old that you're not supposed to be their full-time entertainer. They're supposed to learn to be independent with that. So based on what Suhani has mentioned, Suhani, would you be able to kind of help me through this? Like, should I change what that? Is that not good advice? What do you think?
Can I beg your pardon? I didn't get you. My audio was lagging.
Oh, sorry. So usually I tell parents that they are not supposed to be the entertainer for the child. And I tell that when their children are very, very young also, even when they have a 4-year-old or something, I tell them that you have to help your child become independent so that they can self-soothe, they can self-entertain. So I'm asking you that you said the exact opposite, that you would love that someone should do things with you. So do you think that this advice is bad, what I tell parents? Or is there any comment you have?
No, this advice was really good. But like the problem comes back to the devil, the lockdown. Like we can't do anything. Obviously, our parents are busy. We have to get independent, but we don't have anyone else because of the lockdown. All the problems because we can't meet our friends right now. And obviously our parents are not our full-time entertainer. That is very true. But of course we can try to do something else. We should become more self-independent. We can do painting and stuff on our own, but that won't be as much fun doing it alone, because I am an extrovert. Everybody would have a different opinion on this.
Totally.
Depends on kid.
Totally. I think there is some really great points in this for us parents to consider. So I'm moving to the next question. How to get you to think about your future? That is a problem that parents have, that we find that you're just so busy entertaining yourself, you're not really thinking about the future. So college, career, how should we do that? In which you don't say like, leave me alone. That's the bottom line. You shouldn't feel bad, in a good way. Who wants to go first? Davya?
Yeah. So like what basically I think about this is that you start thinking about the future when you're given examples from the future, or maybe like for example an article or a video or a movie about a person who like when taken right steps in the present like succeeds in the future. So maybe like that.
Okay, quite interesting. So um, could you just elaborate a little bit, like what kind of videos, articles do you mean that, and we should help like show them to you, sort of? Is that what you mean?
Maybe real life examples would help.
Oh, okay.
Like actually people who got successful because of things they did at an early age.
Okay. So talk about inspiring people.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, who would want to go next?
I think I could go next.
Hmm.
I think that we would only think about a future once we realize its worth. Like only when we know that what will happen if we think about our future, then only we'll be successful. Only then we'll realize the importance, and then we'll think about it. But obviously, when the parents tell us about thinking about our future, it gets very boring, and we sort of picture it as a lecture already, even before hearing it. So we don't really pay attention to it. What they can do is they can tell us what we can have by thinking about a future. Like if you want to get this in life, you want to be rich, you want to be successful, you want Netflix subscription, if you want this, everything that you have right now, you have to do something. And you can do something if you know what you're going to choose, which path you're going to choose. But don't make it boring. We lose interest then.
Yes, but then that's the whole point. We don't even realize that we are being boring. So a few examples would be very helpful. Not boring ways of talking about it.
Like, don't open a conversation out of nowhere about this career thing. Like, just go with the flow and just talk casually, because if you open a whole different conversation out of nowhere, it's like you specially came for this and this is a lecture. I can sense a lecture. So just,
Okay. So we call these teachable moments. I think that's what it's coming out, that when we are in a very relaxed place with the child, we've already been spending time, maybe we've been doing some activity together. we call it a teachable moment. So we should wait for a teachable moment before talking about this. Awesome. Meera, your views.
So personally, I do have a career orientation. Like I personally like really like to have things planned, even though I don't, but I like them planned. And because I kind of get scared when things are not like planned, when they're not like, I'm okay with a lot some like changes, last minute changes, but I just like them to be sort of closer to what I think they're going to be. And like I personally don't have this thing. My parents don't have to tell me to think about your career. They just tell me a bit and I start.
And as the said parent, I kind of disagree. We still worry about your career
You
plan.
worry. That doesn't mean that I don't. So like basically, and that. But then for those teenagers, I think, like maybe you should relate career to something they like. So I personally love the subjects in social science, especially history and civics, and I want to take a job somewhere there. So like, parents should relate it to more that than like to things that the child doesn't care about. For example, money. Like some kids don't care about it, some kids do care about it, like me, but some people just don't, so they just want to do what they like. So maybe the parents should focus on that. And I think the teachable moment should be when the kid is not actually thinking about anything important, nothing's on their mind, because sometimes these conversations can be extended. And sometimes, like when my parents are talking about it, I have something on my mind and I'm not ready to listen to it. So I just like to keep it when I am not really doing anything. So it'll be nice if these teachable moments come when I am free, but I'm not thinking about something that I could be doing. I'm not half minded, because that'll be really helpful for me and the parents.
Got to. So we have to also
This
ask
is
you, was there
so
a,
agreeable.
yeah, sorry, Suhani, I missed that.
The point that Mira kept was so agreeable. Like I most of the times we have planned out what we want to do, but when you keep pushing us, like, are you sure you want to do this? You know how to do this. You know the path. Then like we kind of lose interest. Most of the times we have it planned, but when you start pushing it, that's
Yeah. So yeah,
unacceptable.
that's what throughout this talk, just keep reminding us, when does our nice talk become pushing, because we need reminders sometimes. Awesome. Moving on to the next question. I really need you to clean your room, but you call it nagging. What are the options? How do we get our teenager to not live in a pigsty, live in a nice, clean
May I
place?
start?
Yes.
So, like, I did think about this question, so I do have some points. Like, like when the parents tell us to clean, like when I was a bit younger to this, maybe in my pre-teens and a bit younger to that, like you especially would keep telling me to keep my room tidy, and it wouldn't be. We would always leave a mess, and we didn't like to clean up. But then when I sort of grew older, some things were mine, like this table is mine, this laptop is mine. I started having responsibilities, and I realized that nobody's going to clean my desk for me, right? So that night, okay, it was a night, it was my holidays just ended, and next morning was Monday and my school started. I was going to start, and my table was a mess, and I was so irritated. I could not complete my holiday homework and stuff because it was so cramped up, and I just got so annoyed because I knew that my maid is not going to touch that at all, not my sister, not my mom or dad. Nobody cares because it's my stuff, right? They don't use it at all, so why should they clean it? So maybe when you give the child some responsibility, maybe even just give them a room, right? That's it. Nobody cleans it for them. Even if it's just a desk, give them the desk, and if the desk is dirty, the entire room starts looking dirty. So like maybe just give them some responsibility so that they realize that I have to do this on my own. But that's my observation.
Thank you. Who goes next?
I think personally, my room is very clean right now.
Yes.
Like my room is clean.
So you
So
do that voluntarily. It's never a problem.
not never, like sometimes, because that time, I just like I'm in the middle of something, so there would be a mess when I'm doing something. My stuff would be there or here, and my mother keeps telling me, "You have to clean this later. You do realize that you have to clean this. You have made such a mess. Obviously, I'll clean it up later, but just give me some time." And when you keep telling me to clean it, I don't want to.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that's true. That happens. Navya.
So personally, what I think about this is that do not ask them to clean your room when they're like irritated or maybe preoccupied or busy with something. Like do it when they're bored and have nothing else to do. So like the first question sort of like instead of this, you can just clean your room with nothing else to do.
That's interesting, but that's the thing, because when you are free and bored, you look the same as when you are thinking about something. You've
Can
got
I?
a device or a tab. So, honey, you were saying something?
No, it was me.
Oh, you were okay. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult for us to realize that right now you're bored with nothing to do, or right now you're thinking about something and you don't want us to butt in. So, any tip?
Well, because see, like I also agree with Navya and Sohani. They both said the same thing in different words. That basically when we are in our zone, especially when we're doing an activity or doing something and we're totally engrossed in it, and suddenly somebody opens up and says, "Clean your room," because either a guest is coming or either they want it to be clean because they have nothing else to do, and stuff, and we are doing something. I'm doing a craft, and a lot of times the parents get to hear this. I'm doing something. I'll clean it up later. And then they understand that, okay, I'm doing something, but I guess some parents don't. So for those parents, please let them, they will clean it up. They're teenagers.
Ah, okay. We have to trust that you'll do the right thing. Any tips, Navya, Suhani? It's hard, like Navya, to your point, like it's hard for us to notice that now you're bored and now you're actually thinking about something and you don't want to be disturbed. So, any tips?
Maybe we're bored because we spend more time on our mobiles, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
So we just check. Are you bored with nothing to do? Can you just please clean your rooms? Is that how we should go about it?
Maybe like, is it okay if you can clean your room right now? And if we say no, then you can say maybe sometime later, something like that. Or maybe you can see if you are spending too much time on devices, even though we're done studying, maybe you can ask, are you studying or are you doing something? Is could be the first question.
Okay. 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 First question is, are you doing something? And then clean your room. Okay, got it. Next one. Ah, I'm really enjoying this. How to get you to exercise regularly. This looks interesting. Very interesting expressions. I totally should have taken a screenshot. Navya, first lips, please. tell, open and tell us what you think.
I honestly don't know what to respond.
Because you think that we shouldn't bring it up. What do you think? Just tell us what you think. Just tell me what you think.
Or basically, maybe you should make it fun or something like exercising because I sometimes see it as boring.
Mm-hmm. So
Or
how?
like more
What would
engaging.
be fun for you?
Or like more engaged, or like engage more in exercise and stuff. And like start with easy stuff. Do not start with very like long workouts right away. First day of exercising.
But
So
okay,
like
just if we do like a role play, if I were your parent, either parent, say mom, and I want that you've been just bumming around, sitting around. So what can I say so that you will not just completely go no? What can I say to start this topic with you?
maybe like I don't know, like like maybe get like introduce something that I don't really like about my body or something. Maybe like so and say that exercise gets rid of that faster
Uh-huh.
or something.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Who else would like to go next?
May I?
Um,
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
so honey.
I think You know what would be great? First of all, I wake up at 5 or 6 and I do exercise daily, but that just started this year. So I know this has been a problem for me for the previous years. What we can do is you can say, instead of saying that you should go and exercise, you should say that let's go and exercise. If you do with us, we get more motivation. Like, just we can start with the walking after dinner, like all the families at home at that time, and everyone could just go for a simple stroll or a walk, and not just the kid, like you have to go exercise. No, you can come with us. Like, exercise is good for everybody.
So tell me, what made you change? What made you start exercising daily? This is very interesting.
That is the main what the main reason was for me to get up and exercise in the morning was my friends, because they did it with me.
Hmm.
That was the whole point. Like, I don't care about the health or anything, but my friends are doing it, so it's just fun. So parents can try to make it fun too.
So nice. Mira.
Maybe the problem starts when the child is just born. Like maybe you can make it positive from the start. For example, it makes us happy. Because it does, right? Like, stuff that happens in the brain. I don't know what happens, but you become happy after exercise. And maybe you can just start with light stretches and post dinner strolls like she was talking about. Yeah, but keep it light, and then automatically the child will do it. Because personally, my favorite time to just stretch exercise is during when I'm watching TV. It's the weirdest time, but that is when I feel like doing it because I'm not moving at all then. So I decide that maybe I'll do stretches, toe touching stuff. I don't really like the jumping kind of exercises, so you have to push me for that kind of stuff. But I love stretching and doing all the other stuff, which is not jumping and jumping jack and stuff.
So again, tell me, what made you start doing this? What
So
got you
that
going?
is because I realized that So first I used to think that it's not like I want to be a sports person. Why should I exercise? And then I was like, there are other reasons for exercising, but who cares? But then later I was like, it makes me feel like I'm more energetic, more happy, more like it makes me feel positive about myself. Is the whole point. So I didn't need a nudge at all. Nobody did anything. It just I when I grew up, like teenage and stuff, I automatically felt like doing it. So I don't know what the parents should do because I don't think I needed any help. But maybe you can start with what Sohani said, light strolls and stuff, and light exercises. Maybe just some stretches because I love those things. They don't make me too sweaty, but they're nice. They make me feel like I've done something. So
Navya, would that work for you?
Yeah, that what both of them saying makes sense. Like you can do it with company and start small.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. Okay, next question. Sorry, I look into my phone. It's the questions are there. Okay, so how to help you understand puberty and love your body? That's a concern because sometimes in teenagers we've seen, droopy and slouching and everything because, well, how can we talk about this
may
too?
I?
Yes.
So I'm talking for girls here. When we find out that we have periods and stuff, we start hating it. It's so annoying. Okay, we have cramps, all the bad things, and I'm like, why is our body punishing for something that we are anyways supposed to do? Like, I mean, when I was younger, I had headaches because my problem. I was watching too much TV, but I didn't drink water. Yes, I should get a punishment. But why should I get punishment for something that I haven't done? And I'm not, everybody has to go through it. So maybe I think you can like, make it like, you can't help it. So because I used to hate it when I would thinking I can't help it. But then then you start caring because you can't help it. What are you gonna do? There is nothing you can do. But I'm just talking about periods here, nothing else right now, mainly.
And did you struggle with loving your body? Was that a struggle when your body shape started changing or something?
It wasn't actually a struggle. It was fun. I'm growing up. It's different. Everything is different. My body shape is changing and stuff. And I would talk to my sister or you about it. So it was nice. And maybe I would just keep some thoughts to myself. It was different. I mean, I don't know about some teenagers who start hating their body when it's changing. But I thought that I was growing up because, well, it happens to everybody. So it's growing up. It's not a struggle.
And did the books that you read, did they help? Do you think?
Well, that is, yes, that is true. When this adolescent stuff was going on, my mom bought me a book like on periods and stuff, and just a little bit of exposure from school. We used to have different growing up sessions and sex education and stuff. Even like from grade 6 it started. Like now my sister's in grade 6, she'll go through all that stuff, and so that the light things they made it less uncomfortable, less harder for us, especially for me. So if you just kind of influence us in certain areas, we will not think of it. I mean, at least I won't think of it as a struggle.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Navya? Oh, sorry. Yes.
Like Meera said, it's very important to take whatever is happening with us positively. Like she was happy with what was happening, so that should be the main concern. Like we should take it positively. Now the question is, how do we take it positively?
Exactly.
So first, if talking about periods, the first day I got my period, I was like, God, what is this? And I was like, why is this happening to me? Why am I a girl? Why am I not a boy? Or why do periods not happen to boys? But then I realized that because I took it positively, I thought of them as like something that God gave to me because He knew that I can bear it. Maybe boys can't bear that much pain. That's why He gave it to girls.
So, what
And the
helped you
most
switch over? Do you remember why you changed your thinking, or is it just
I changed my thinking because I knew like I'm that kind of person. If I took it positively, I'd accept it. And most people accept it when they take it positively. So I took it positively. And what could help even more is knowing the reason behind why it's happening. If you don't know the reason behind it, like we'd be like, why is this happening? Is it happening to me only? Like if my mother told me why it's happening, she told me that it happens to everybody. That made me a little more comfortable, like knowing that I'm not alone in this, like everybody else is with me. If I felt like I was alone in this, it would have been depressing. And
okay?
about
So, hmm.
body change, I never really thought of body change as a struggle. I was really happy with my body because like I took it positively. Like, first off, I would have been scared, but like, I told myself that it happens with everybody. And if you keep telling me that your body is great, everybody's body is great, sometimes teenagers don't understand that because they are new to the stuff and they think like because of all the influencers online, all the celebrities, you look at their bodies and obviously you'll compare. So what we can do is we can think of it like body shape does not really matter. And if it matters, yours is beautiful.
Mhm.
And what matters more is the person within. We should realize that.
Hmm. So
That
these
would help more,
conversations are okay to have, right?
obviously, because uh, I am not defined by my body. Suhani is inside.
Awesome.
That's what you have to realize.
Beautiful. Navya, interested to know your thoughts.
To be honest, like this is a huge problem for my school and stuff because like guys over there don't know much about periods and like they don't know what's happening much with themselves and they like take it as a taboo topic. So what I personally think is that for both boys and girls, like they should know each like their own cycle that starting from an early age, so
Mhm.
that when it actually happens to them, they don't get confused or freaked out or whatever. So like I personally think you should like start introducing it to kids at an early age onwards, and then that too in a gentle way, not like suddenly get so that they get scared. Or like you can provide websites for it, for about everything that happens and say that it happens to everyone. It's normal. like to even like just like these people were saying, like I don't like my periods even though I've had them for a long time, to be honest. So like I saw a TEDx talk on periods
Mhm.
and how a person is saying that like if there were no periods then there would be no feminism, like how then like I just like thought over it and I realized that I was a much better person. Like after my periods started coming, I started having more control over my emotions and I started thinking in a different way. So maybe they're not that bad.
Wow, that's an input I hadn't thought about, that we start thinking about things differently when we have our periods. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
And
And
also, boys have their own set of problems,
yes.
right? So, so I kind of respect that we both have our things. We both, boys and girls, have to do our own things. They have more physical problems, which is kind of sad, but and ours,
What do you
nobody
mean
can
with
relate.
that? By that, do you mean facial hair and all?
Everything, voice cracks, facial hair. My sister makes fun of people in my class, online classes, a lot. Really, he's like, this person looks so funny with the mustache, but you can't help it. Right? See, like, so when my mom and other people told me that boys are more unlucky, I was like, I'm luckier. So maybe just a little influence, like Navya said, so Hani said, from outside. Even I said that school and everybody, ultimately they do help us understand what's going on, and at a pretty good age. And so I don't think parents have to do too much, but they should talk about it. They can't be just so random. Like some girl from my class, she didn't know at all. She was totally confused, and we were like, why don't you? Because maybe her mother was too scared, but that didn't benefit her. Even if you're scared, don't be scared. First of all, just go straight and talk about it, because if you're too scared, your child is going to have a problem.
Awesome.
Can I just add something on this?
Sorry, Navya?
Can I just add something on this?
Please.
Basically, like there are all these debates online: who's more supreme, boys or girls, who has to bear the most load. So what I think is that they should be taught from early on that everyone, both of them have their own problems, and they should be tackled in different ways. Like because it once you start talking about who's more supreme, boys and girls, the fight will never end. Honestly.
Yeah, that is very true. For in your mind, you can think that, okay, I am the luckier one, but we have to allow the boys to think in their mind that they are the luckier one as well. So we not bring a
Yeah,
fight.
they have their own
Let
problems.
everybody be happy with themselves.
Yes, very true, very true. And in the next session that we do on Sunday, I hope to have some boys as well, so we'll hear their perspective on this. Lovely. Sixth question. So this is the second last question that I have. How to make you understand the importance of discipline? Everyone's,
Can I start on this?
yes.
So basically, what I think is that discipline is not something that should be forced on anyone. Like they should learn and grow in it. Like for example, if you're in a class and the class is like the worst in the world, and the teacher just tries their best to like calm everyone down. So maybe like maybe at that time you should like teach the kid that like discipline is not. It's like very like if you should have discipline in order to like succeed. I can take examples from it, like people like if you look at athletes, they practice every day like a lot, and then only they're athletes. Like that's and they everyone works hard to achieve their positions. Like anyone, like honestly, you look at for example, the prime minister, like he's campaigned for so many years, and like then he's become prime minister. Or if you're a if you're a member of the UN, like imagine how like you have written so many tough exams to like realize where you are today. And for many examples, like considering what the child interest is, like for example, if the child wants to become an athlete or a delegate or a politician or whatever, like or even a teacher, you should realize that like you should work hard and discipline is necessary to work harder and eventually succeed.
Wow. So what I'm getting from this is that rather than use the word discipline, we can just talk about people and share their journey and allow you to recognize that discipline was an important part of it?
Yeah. But like, don't talk about it suddenly. Like, just gradually go into the topic.
Can you give
Like,
an example of that? You guys,
how do you know about the treatment or something?
yeah, you guys keep talking about that. Enter gently into the topic. I'm not sure what that means. Can you give an example, Navya?
I'm not sure. Like, suppose you're watching a movie about something, like maybe about, say, Sachin Tendulkar, just a random example. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, maybe you can talk about all the stuff he did to in order to become that famous. And like, all this stuff only comes with hard work.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah.
So personally, I'd like to, for myself, I'd like to disagree with Navya. I don't know why, but I don't like it when my parents start talking about people and telling their stories, because the first thought that comes to my head is I am not them. But like, if we're talking about teenagers here, I can tell you this, that they automatically have this thing, like, they realize that they like, they don't know that it's discipline, but they know that, suppose, like, I really love painting, and slowly when you reach out to online pictures, Pinterest, Google, you realize, you can do a bit more, you can do better, you can automatically, you can see me that I, like, it's really late and I'm still working on a sketch, and obviously, because I think I can do better and better, and that is automatic discipline, because the child is not a baby right now. I mean, he's a teenager, they know what it means, right? So they understand, but right now they're not thinking about it. This is totally not, they don't know that they're doing discipline. They realize it later, but they don't know it. For example, even if it's academic interest, somebody might love maths, and they sit one day just around, say, and they're like, they see their maths textbook and they're like, let's solve some questions. They start and they keep doing it. They don't realize that what they're doing is, it's kind of related to discipline, because it's going to help them. They don't realize it. So it starts in the things we like, and gradually, maybe you can say that this can be pushed towards the things that we're not so familiar with, not too great at, and then that's like an all-rounded discipline, sort of. Basically, thinking about uh, different areas and focusing on them, because I think that automatically when you come to teenage, they start thinking about their favorite things and start, engaging in it, doing better at it. For example, sports. Any sportsman would try to compare that person with some other person and say that, well, I should do like that person, I should play like that person, I should, run like that person. So you do have comparisons, you don't realize it, but you do, and you automatically start practicing, you do something to get to it. So I don't think parents have to nudge too much, but as long as the child knows about discipline since the start, they will be able to manage it in teenage. But don't push it, please. It's annoying when you keep saying the word discipline stuff. It sounds bad.
Got it. Suhani?
I think all you can do is to make us more. Just a minute.
Sure. Go on.
I was saying that to make us realize the importance of discipline, first of all, you should not tell us how important discipline is. Like, you should motivate us when we do something disciplined. Like, if I become punctual, or if I don't talk back, or if I do something good, you should appreciate that. And I think that would be more motivating for me to keep doing it. And realizing the importance of discipline is, once I become disciplined, I will automatically realize the importance of discipline, because realization is better than knowledge. So you should not tell us, because that way we never get to learn how important discipline is, because most of the time we don't pay attention, or we don't get to know. Even if you tell me something, it'd be better when I realize that myself. So motivate us to become more disciplined, but don't tell us the importance. Just help us realize it.
Any example how we could do that?
Like, if I wake up early or I go to bed at time, I don't use my phone much. I do everything. I have a timetable and I follow it.
Hmm.
So just appreciate me on that.
Got
Like, that's a good thing. You should do that more. And if I know that I'd be appreciated, then I'll do it even more and more often. So
Lovely. Yeah, that's an approach that we call
May I add
catch them.
something to her?
Yeah, we call it catch them being good. That's yeah, so catch them being good rather than punish them for being bad. Yes, Neera.
All I just want to add something to hers because it makes sense. And yes, you should like realize that they're doing something which is different and it's better. And also maybe like they don't even have to do sometimes. They don't have to do anything sometimes because results automatically make us realize that what I've been doing to prepare for this exam is going to make me better at it. So I did such a good thing, and it and I scored really well. So I'm going to do the same thing again and I score well again, which will automatically kind of make us realize that discipline is important and the parent doesn't have to interfere too much in this topic. I think so. And not in exams, not just in exams, anything, race, competition. Maybe just a simple thing like you could teach a small child something and the child did so well. You realize that if I would practice more, the child would even do better. Small things like these.
Interesting. So I think the consensus is just let's not talk about it too much. Either inspire with inspiring people, or just appreciate when we are being good. Awesome, awesome. Really important points for me to take away. Last question: how to get you to help me more at home, doing the things that need to be done to run the family, to run the home. Do not look away, friends. Tell me. Such incredible expressions.
I think um, I think that when parents try to encourage us, help them at home, they sometimes miss out on something that actually helps us. And what helps us is looking at kids who are elder to us. And they do help some of them, but I like some people they are really responsible and maybe just help us notice that they're so responsible. They help the parents, and because I've realized this that the younger child always gets really inspired from the older child. uh, it doesn't have to be sibling or anything, just any older child or somebody who's just elder to that person, because they suppose there's a person who's a couple of years elder to me, and like that person, he or she is very helpful and they help their parents and stuff. And I realized that, oh, that's how elder people are. I think that that's how I have to become. It's direct. I don't have to think about it, it just happens. So maybe that, like, introducing us to people who are really good with that. And if we don't have those kind of people around us, neighborhood or anything, then maybe like the parents can make it simpler for us. So in our school, they started something in which, like, the parents pay the child a little amount of money if they do some job every day, right? So the options were so easy, like just take your own milk, pour it yourself, and drink it, and then put the glass in the wash. That's it. I mean, that's something we're helping ourselves, right? So just helping ourselves and then helping maybe one person doing something very easy, and then automatically you don't realize, but you're technically helping the household. So then, like at a younger age, we started. Our parents are like, you have to put your wash in the
Clothes.
um no, not the clothes, but sorry, I meant the utensils in the wash. That's what I meant. So like that, and then also clothes. Yes, that we can't just litter it by putting it everywhere. That was helping ourselves. And then when we grew older, like during this lockdown period especially, we started helping our parents, and that was kind of a necessity. So that they didn't do anything which helped us. It was, we had to do it. There was no choice. But hopefully that doesn't come up, that you have no choice. But yes, like slight things, like since you're a younger child, because I don't know how a teen is brought up. Like the teen, like the way they are brought up is kind of helpful, like the way I was brought up. start doing your own things, and then maybe help other people. That's how. So if you have taught the child since the beginning to start doing your own things, help yourself, then he or she will be able to help the others, because it's way more easier.
Got it. So start early. Sure. Okay. Yes. Who wants to go next?
I think that when I realized that I have to help my mother or my father with the household work is when I saw them doing the work, because even after they came back from their offices or something, they were still doing the work that was left. So I realized that even I have my studies to do and they have their work to do. Even after that, they're doing the household work. So I think a bit of my responsibility to help them at least a little. So I think we'll start doing the household work only once we realize that it is important. And you should tell us that if we are growing up, then with growth, responsibility also comes.
Okay.
You can make us tell that. So obviously, if we want to grow up, we need to realize that we should be responsible too. And if we are not responsible, then we just grew up. We are not a grown up.
Wow, that's a nice one. Navya?
So over here, it's like I don't have much to say. It's just that like the parents should probably lead by example to an early age. And as Suhani was saying, like seeing that they work hard in offices and all, but they still don't like slug away on their household work. So well, that's it. Like you just have to incorporate it to them at a younger age.
Hmm. So yes, that's what I'm taking away, that it has to start early, and also uh, probably like work while the child is seeing you, so that they will probably start to think about this. Is that what's coming?
Also, maybe don't groan about it in front of the child at least. Because if they do, we realize that it's a bad thing. It's boring and it is for adults only. But if you think of it as a responsibility, as a duty of growing up, like Suhani said, tell us that you're growing up, you need responsibilities, you have to do these kind of things, or maybe just let them figure it out. Looking at other people around them, like I said, looking at somebody who's actually doing that.
And how do you feel if we start giving you our example, that when I was younger, I used to help my
No, that is
No,
terrible, terrible,
total no, right?
terrible.
No, because
Worst
we
ever
can't relate
to
to
do.
them.
Never.
What did you say, Navya? Because we can't what?
We can't relate to it
Ah,
at
Yeah,
all.
that is true. You
Because it
cannot
was
really.
way different back then.
things were very different back then. So
Yeah,
current
and
examples of people that you do know is a better choice,
I
right?
think personally, I don't like being given examples
Okay.
because I I don't like being compared to anyone. But that is for me. It
Right.
might be different for
it is
everybody else.
it
Hmm.
is the same for me also. I don't like to be given
And
example.
and sometimes
For me,
we don't. We need to time this.
Go ahead, Suhani. Finish what you're saying, please.
I was just saying that sometimes I don't help with the household. It's not because I don't want to or I am not responsible enough. Sometimes I just forget because sometimes I have other things to do. If you could just tell me that, Suhani, could you please do this or could you do that? I would definitely help because sometimes I just forget.
That's a good point. Is that something that we use? We say that just have like a visual reminder, like maybe put it up on the fridge or something, so nobody is pointing fingers. You just go there and you automatically see, and you remember, so there's no
In
nagging.
fact, just saying it will work.
Yeah,
Just say, Mira, you're supposed to do this.
just
And
say.
yeah, oh, okay, yeah, that's correct. I mean, I would blame you for saying it. I totally understand. I haven't done it. You have said it a couple of times. And also that it's important for me because it's my job ultimately.
So that brings us to another point, that we should already have a discussion about this, that what is your job? You would like to know that is this my job or it's not? Is it a one-off thing? Is that?
I think our job is helping ourselves. I think we should just keep it like, help yourself, you help yourself, you help yourself, and I'll help myself. And then ultimately we all help ourselves, but we're actually helping each other also. Because Like, I know my jobs because I'm basically just helping myself. I have to put my own plate in the wash. I have to pick my own clothes and put them in the wash. I have to take my clothes which are folded and put them in my cupboard. I have to make sure that all my shoes are inside the rack. Uh, and I have to wash my hands. I mean, everybody does that, but it's basically our responsibilities are basically what we help ourselves. That's it. Nobody, you shouldn't say that you have to help her do homework or you have to clean that person's mess, because then we feel like, why should we? But then, because when we grow up, we ultimately will get separated someday, right? Like, I will go out somewhere, maybe I have a different family altogether, so I just need to practice doing my work. I don't need to practice doing somebody else's work. So just keep it simple. Your responsibility is doing your own work. End of story.
Navya, I think you had some thoughts.
Nothing much, like just that when it comes to inspirations, like there should be like I don't like. I mean, like I'm fine with being compared as long as it's like someone I idolize or something like that. Like not random people. Like suppose if you want, if like your parents want to get you into IIT, then like don't compare them to the toppers or something as that you are you or maybe you're not sure about it.
Hmm.
So like there should be limits to idolizing.
And
I
we,
mean there should be limits to comparing to another person if you do it.
right. And we have to be in tune with your interests. Very true. And do you find it easy to do household chores, Navya? Do you know that these are your responsibilities, etc.? How does it work for you?
I do some stuff, like not much, like drying the clothes or like starting the washing machine, sometimes cleaning my room.
Yeah.
Just like small things.
Hmm. And it's easy for you to do that. You don't need much goading.
Yeah. Like if you compare doing your homework as a responsibility, then like I'm totally be totally you like try your best to be totally self-sufficient about that.
Lovely. Awesome. Thank you so much, all of you, for this first recording of Teen Talk. And I'm taking away lots and lots of notes, and you're probably going to help a lot of people. So I'm going to also share this video once it's finally ready on social media. I hope everybody's thumbs up for that, sharing it on my, yeah, thank you. Okay, awesome. Bye bye. Thank you so much for your help.